Because there is a conflict between the Trumbull County Constitution and bylaws and the ODP Constitution and bylaws. That conflict has existed for years. That conflict existed in 2006 when Chris Redfern came into office. We suffered the untimely death of a county commissioner, and just days before our scheduled meeting to vote to replace that commissioner, Redfern and his secretary, Mr. DeMora, start making noises about, well, you can't do it this way. Our chairperson doesn't have the unilateral ability to ignore an existing constitution and bylaws and just do things the way these guys in Columbus say they want it done. There's a process that needs to be followed. And Trumbull County's position from the word go has been, okay, we'll take a look at that. In the meantime, we have to follow our constitution and bylaws. And we checked with the Secretary of State's office. The Secretary of State said, your job is to follow your constitution and bylaws. If you do that, I'm going to certify the appointment. And that's what he did. At every step of this process, our first priority has been cooperation with Columbus, or attempted cooperation with Columbus. We've appointed the special commission. They've already met. They're meeting again tomorrow, I believe, and that process is going to move forward. We are not trying to obstruct anything that the Ohio Democratic Party is trying to do. We just wish that, in trying to get us to change our constitution, Mr. Redfern needs to start following his own constitution.
Chris Redfern said to us when this all started out that these rules have been in place for many years, and that Trumbull County should have changed their bylaws years ago.
We've been voting secret ballots since 1994 in Trumbull County. Okay? 1994. We've been in compliance. The only thing that I wasn't happy with tonight is we've paid our assessment to the ODP, okay? And we've been in good favor. And if you look at the Constitution under Section 10 and 12 of their own Constitution, the only way you could take away vote builder or bulk mail is if you don't pay your assessment. We've paid it the last 4 years. So they need to read that, because that's a bunch of malarkey. We have candidates. We got a new commissioner that's running for commissioner. We have candidates that are running for judge, and they're unilaterally saying that we don't have vote builder or bulk mail, which is totally against their own constitution if you read it. And here's a pamphlet.
Are you upset, Dan, that you didn't get heard tonight?
Well, that's their prerogative. I would think they would have. If it's a democracy, you want to be heard, okay? But we've been fighting the good fight, and we'll continue to fight the good fight. I personally believe 100% in secret ballot, but I put together a committee, took myself out of the middle, and let them look at it and see what other counties are doing, and then maybe come with a consensus. But Gil, you might want to elaborate further on that.
I think the thing you have here tonight, the Democratic Party's, one of its purposes is to be a voice of the people. You have a whole busload of Democrats from Trumbull County come down here. They're denied the opportunity to speak. You have David Beatrice making a motion, and he came into the room ahead of time, and he said he was making the motion not due to anything that our party did, but due to the fact that he was upset with a media consultant who was hired. That didn't get heard.
He didn't even know who we hired, because the guy who's complaining about it is a different person from who we hired. We hired two dogs and a pig.
And you raised
3 weeks ago.
You raised the concern on the history, and if there's a problem with our bylaws, there's a process to be followed in the ODP Constitution. Mr. Redfern and Mr. DeMora chose not to follow that. They chose to make a declaration. It's these dictatorial issues that are a problem. If they follow their own rules, this problem, none of us would be standing here. But they didn't do anything within the party to declare the bylaws invalid. They tried to do it unilaterally without following their own procedures. And that's the problem you have.
Explain why they did that. Explain why they didn't follow their own constitution. Ego.
And why didn't they vet a gubernatorial candidate? We don't know.
So can you guys go through any of the statewide races and give us your level of confidence that any one of them will beat their Republican challenger?
We don't want to discuss that. We're all Democrats. We're all rooting for the Democratic candidates, but I can tell you we're very disappointed on what happened here.